Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this Frontline Club webinar. I'm Lisa Upton, Australia for UNHCR's Head of Communications and Public Affairs.
Thanks, Lisa, and I'd just like to say hello to everybody. I remember one of our donor events where we were hosting the Nansen awardee, Sister Angelique Nameka. One of our donors came to me and said, "Oh, look, I bought a sort of box of tissues. I think it's going to be really tragic." And afterwards she came up and said, "I didn't need that. It was actually inspiring." And of course, it was inspiring because not only is Sister Angelique Nameka inspiring, but we were talking about the positive impact of what support can do. And I think for me, over 20 years, when people say, how can you experience it? Or, and I've been in situations of famine, I've been in situations of enormous displacement, but I'm there because we have the support of Australian donors who really are making a positive impact.
And this is about helping people survive and catalyzing a wider international response. This is the bit that's most commonly in the news headlines. But then too, we also work painstakingly with governments, development actors, the business sector, yourselves, others, to bring about the kind of societal and political will needed for solutions. And there's a number of things there. We support people to settle in countries where they are. We help with resettlement of those who can't safely remain where they are. We work in voluntary repatriation. We work on what we call complementary pathways. And these are routes like community sponsorship, refugee study visas, family unification, employment visas, which, though they sound small, collectively add up to quite a big effort. We really have 100 million reasons to help more, to redouble efforts to bring about peace, to help refugees better where they are, whether that's here, whether that's far away where they are at the moment, and in countries that are on the front lines of global displacement. So it's a call to step up our game and address this as we really need to.
Amazingly, in the middle of next month, it will be a year since the Taliban took over in Afghanistan. And we will all remember those images at Kabul airport. I don't think they will ever leave us. I just wanted to acknowledge the wonderful support our donors gave the Afghanistan crisis last year. We raised $11.6 million, which was one of the highest amounts given to UNHCR outside of governments. And it's something that really shows the generosity of our donors, but also the compassion. I think what we're seeing is the ripple effects from war and also the impacts of climate change. There are challenges there, and it's looking like with the exacerbation of Ukraine, 50 million people will face acute food insecurity, particularly in Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia, Sudan and South Sudan. So the situation's very serious, and UNHCR is on the ground helping, but we need funding to make a difference.
On behalf of the Board of Australia for UNHCR, I'd like to thank Naomi for 22 years of outstanding service to refugees. For more than 20 years, she's used her formidable communication skills to advocate for refugees whenever and wherever she can. She has deliberately, effectively, and fearlessly told positive stories about refugees, the kind of stories that we don't hear often enough. She's reminded us again and again that nobody chooses to be a refugee, that people have a right to seek asylum, and that refugees have an enormous amount to contribute to our society.
And I thank you for building an incredible organisation we can partner with in our common cause to protect and assist refugees and other forcibly displaced around the world. Thank you, Naomi. It's been an outstanding 22 years of helping refugees, and I wish you all the very best for the future. Yours, Filippo Grandi.
So on that note, I really want to thank everybody involved. I will really treasure today and this webinar. It's been very special for me, but as I really treasure the last 22 years of what's been an extraordinary journey. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this Frontline Club webinar. And thank you, of course, to our guests, Adrian Edwards, Michael Dwyer, Trudi Mitchell, and Naomi Steer. Have a great afternoon. Goodbye.